Hi guys, this is Kim and Adriana Ward with Spiritually Elegant Candles, and tonight we are going to walk through melting our soy wax to create, what should we create tonight? We are going to create what we call smash samples. And smash samples are available for only distributors in their back office, which we call the distributor arena. So bear with us and we are going to get some things set up. We'll be right back. So we're back. My house is a complete mess, but I want to show you our closet because the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have your supplies set up first and foremost. So for us, we are going to pick out our fragrance first because I'm not sure what scent we're gonna make. So our fragrance, as well as our candle dye, they come in amber bottles. And a tip is if you have something that comes in an amber colored bottle, it probably means that it needs to be protected from light, which is why it's amber. So if you read your instructions, these will say store in a dry, cool place. Let's see, Yeah, and just so you know, a little tip about Spiritually Elegant Candles is that we do use 100% natural products. Our fragrances are phthalate free. And our fragrances also contain pure essential oils. So I'm gonna pick out our fragrance that we're gonna use and a corresponding color. You can see the red one exploded a little bit. And then we are going to get the rest of our supplies. Okay, so when we first started out, we were doing what's called a double boil process. And that's when you take a large pot of water, you bring it to that boiling point, and then you have a metal pouring pitcher. And you actually have that pouring pitcher inside of that pan of boiling water. And when it reaches a certain temperature, that's when you can add your fragrance, your coloring, if you choose a color, and let it mix together well, right? Then you have to cool it. So you want to shut your boiling water off, take that pitcher off of your stove and just stir it and let it cool down to its designated cooling point, and then you can pour it. So after lots of research, we discovered that using a Presto pot, here you are, right? It's a Presto pot. This helps you first and foremost with productivity. Secondly, you can control your temperatures with this knob right here. I know the lighting is horrible and I apologize, but you can control your temperatures and you have a lot more control. So now I'm going to get our soy wax. We use the Golden Brand Wax 464. And I'm gonna measure out just a pound for today for this video, and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. And I have just a mail scale. This is just for mail. It's just to mail packages. It works perfectly. And when you're measuring something, make sure that you zero out your scale. You got that zero button, right? Before I do that, I'm gonna place my bowl that's gonna hold our wax. All right? It's just a plastic bowl, nothing special. Now it's gonna obviously get the weight of this bowl. I do not want that included in our wax. So I'm gonna simply zero this out, and then I'm going to scoop my wax until I have an even pound. Now what's nice about this wax is that it comes in a flake form. So that helps it heat up and dissolve much quicker. Soy wax is great because it has a very, very easy cleanup. We're a little messy around here and we tend to get it on the counter, sometimes on the floor, and it wipes up very easily and very nicely. So we're a little over a pound. Just Normally I wouldn't be so picky, but today we're gonna make a fragrance that we don't have for sale yet. And it comes in a nice sample jar. I'm not gonna show you the scent that we're making. And we use 1 ounce of fragrance to 1 pound of wax. That is the ratio. So now we are going to pour 1 pound of wax right into our Presto pot. Okay, here we go. Now that it's there, we'll plug in the Presto pot, and we're gonna set this temperature to 200 degrees. Just so you know, once you hit that 250 degree mark, that's when you can actually cause a fire, and you will notice smoking in the Presto pot, and that's not good. So we keep it at an even 200 degrees, and we're gonna let this melt. We're back. It's only been a matter of maybe 2 minutes. This soy wax is very, very gentle, so it does not take long to melt when it's at this point. So I want to share with you just what this looks like, all right? Make sure, sorry guys about this. Look at that, all right? We do use silicone spoons, and just so you know, we have a spoon for every fragrance. We don't want to cross-contaminate our fragrances, so we do have a spoon for each fragrance. Now, what we're going to do is get our thermometer, and we need to take the temperature because we cannot add our coloring or our fragrance until we are at a minimum of 185 degrees, okay? So let me grab the thermometer and I'll be right back. Okay, so we use a candy thermometer because these are great. They go up to very high temperatures. They're used to this type of measuring and monitoring. So without touching the Presto pot, I don't want to burn myself or hurt myself, I'm gonna basically just dip my thermometer in the wax, and I'm gonna hold it there until I get a great reading. I'm looking for, oh, I am so sorry. I'm looking for a temperature of 185 degrees. And once we get there, we are going to add our coloring first and then stir it in. Let's see where we're at right now. Yep, we're basically right at 200, which is great because that's what we have our Presto pot set at. So for this particular candle, I want an orange color. Unfortunately, we don't have any orange, but we do have red and we do have yellow. So we're gonna get creative. When you're using your coloring, make sure that you read the instructions. It will give you a specific shade that you're looking for, and it will tell you how many drops per pound that you can use maximum, okay? That doesn't mean 6 drops per pound of yellow and then 6 drops per red. That's 6 drops per pound total. So for the yellow, it says I can use 3 drops per pound to achieve this lighter yellow, or I can use 6 drops to get that darker color. But I want a nice deep orange, and the red is basically the same thing, 3 drops and 6 drops. If you want, you can wear gloves while you're using your liquid, your dye, because it does get very messy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use, there's 6 total, we're using a pound. So I'm actually gonna do 2 drops, just 2 drops of red and 4 drops of yellow, and that's gonna give me my 6 drops total. And watch how fast this comes out, okay? 1, 2. That's it. That's it. Any more than that, and you are going to definitely skew the quality of the candle, the quality of how it burns, and of course, how it looks. So we need 4 drops of yellow. It comes out quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop. No more than that. If we were more than that, we'd be over that 6 drop limit. And if we did that, the candle's not gonna look right, it's not gonna pour right, and it's not gonna burn right. So now that we've got that, we're gonna just mix this, okay? I'm gonna stir this for anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. Now that this is pretty much well mixed, all the colors are combined, I should have a nice orange, which it looks that way to me. And like I said, for your fragrance, let me find it. Your fragrance should be 1 ounce per pound of wax. Normally we would measure it out, but this bottle is already a 1 ounce size. So all I'm gonna do, because we've reached that 185-degree temperature, I am going to just completely dump this entire 1 ounce bottle of fragrance right in there. Now this is the most important part, because we wanna stir, and you have to stir for 1 to 2 minutes, okay? But while this is happening, we want to turn our Presto pot to off and unplug it. And the reason for that is, now that you're mixing this fragrance, now you start the cooling process. And we can't pour our candles until they are as cool as 135 degrees. And that, depending on the pounds that you have, can take anywhere from 10 minutes to 28 minutes to cool. So I'm gonna stir this, I'm gonna let this cool down, and while it cools, that's when you want to assemble either your candles or your sample containers or your tea lights. So I'm gonna grab, so once I'm done stirring this, I'm gonna grab some of our souffle cups, which is what we put our smash samples into, and I'm gonna show you how we make our distributor samples. Okay, so while we're waiting for this wax to cool to about 140 degrees, you wanna pour at 135 plus or minus 5 degrees. So we've learned that when it gets to the point where it's around 145, 140, somewhere around there, that's when it's safe to pour that into one of our pouring pitchers. And the reason for that is because as we pour, the air is now getting to it, it's out of that confined pot, so the temperature, it cools down a lot faster. Once it's in our pots, let's check the temperature while we're at it. Again, this is such a awful stand. It does make for a humorous video, so I'm not even gonna delete it. Okay, let's check the temperature. If it's at 145, that's when you can pour it into your pouring pitcher here and start to get it ready to put it into the containers. So we're still at about 150. It's still climbing. 160, so that's still too hot. So we're gonna still give that just a couple minutes to cool. While that cools, I've lined up our souffle cups here. And what we do here is we don't mark up our distributor samples. We sell them for cost. And I don't know any company that sells samples for 10 cents other than us. So we fill this souffle cup only about a quarter of the way. I sure will as soon as we're done here. And what that gives you is about the size of a silver dollar. These are 2 ounce souffle cups. You'll get about the size of a silver dollar. What's nice about that is if you decide to purchase samples for yourself, for a customer, for a friend, you can actually take that entire wax melt and place it into a warmer, and it will still you know, permeate and cause some wonderful aroma in your home. Or what we do is we actually cut it into halves or into quarters, into fours, and we provide free samples to our customers or people who are looking to smell a particular fragrance, and that way you can have like a pizza pie slice. It's not much, it's just there to sniff it, see if you like the scent, see if you're sensitive to it, see if your spouse agrees with it, and then you'll know what candles you want to purchase in the future. So let's let this cool a little bit more, and then okay, so we're about 140 degrees, and I'm going to pour this. I'm actually going to use the smaller pouring pitcher tonight. I think when we're pouring tea lights, because everything that we have is hand poured, and it's easier to pour either samples or tea lights in the smalling pouring pitcher. Smalling, wow, I'm tired. The smaller pouring pitcher. At least I caught myself. The larger one we use for our 8-ounce candles. We now have 16-ounce candles in glass for our holiday collection. I quit. After I fire this stand, are you guys laughing yet? Because if you're not, then you don't have a sense of humor. So very carefully taking your Presto pot. Oh, I thought that was falling again.
What?
Hold on. I'm gonna just pour that into the pouring pitcher.
Mommy.
Hold on, don't touch that. And then with your silicone spoon, don't touch that wire, we're recording. I'm gonna scrape out the rest of the wax. And then the most important part is, this is fine there, that's still cooling. That's why you always want to pour maybe a couple of degrees higher, because as that's sitting there, you want to clean out this press.
A Minnie Mouse.
That happened again. I'm done. I'm gonna hold it. So it's really important to clean out your Presto pot while it's still warm. That way the wax doesn't harden. It's not something you have to scrape out. When it's still a little bit warm, you're just gonna take paper towels, wipe it dry. Once all of the wax and the fragrance and the coloring have been wiped out, we need to walk together, and we use just alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol. You never want to use soap or water with your anything to do with your candles. All you're gonna do, pour some alcohol in there just to clean it, remove the fragrance, wipe it out. It's pretty cool, you know, at this point already. Wipe the sides, wipe the bottom, right? And more than likely, you can probably wipe off your silicone spoon as well as your thermometer, but I don't want my wax to get too cool, so we're gonna pour it into our souffle cups. I really hope our videos improve with, you know, in quality over time. So when you're pouring, you'll definitely want a paper towel with you in case you get anything that drips. And like I said, for the smash samples in the souffle cups, all we do is pour about a quarter of the cup, and this paper towel is handy to wipe that. Okay, that's it right there. Now, you know that I was looking for a nice orange. Just so you know that when you do pour, it's always darker when it's wet, okay? While it's still in liquid form. As soon as these dry, it is gonna dry in a much lighter shade. And this is what a completely dry and perfectly ready smash sample looks like. Once you open the cover for your souffle cup, you will more than likely be able to just do what I just did right here. If not, with the cover on, just tap it upside down, and on your counter, just give it a little tap. It will come loose, and this is the size of it. So that's a very nice size to place in a warmer, or as I said, cut in half or cut in fours to provide your customer to see if this is a scent that's for them. Now I will take a butter knife and I will show you how easy it is to just cut soy. Okay, there's half, there's a quarter. So even, oh, this is such a great scent. This is our love spell. That's still a really good size. Or if you have a small jewelry bag, you can take your little pizza pie, place this in a Ziploc bag, and your customer, your friends, your family will absolutely be able to just take a sniff of our beautifully natural soy melts and see if this is the right scent for them. I hope you enjoyed this crazy video. Hopefully they do get better with time. And if you are looking for a local distributor in your area or to join our team, feel free to come over to spirituallyelegantcandles.com. Stay blessed, guys. Make sure you subscribe for many more videos to come. Bye, guys.